All right, guys, Fat Daddy, how you doing? It is like January 23rd or something today, where it's cold. It's time for sausage now. We're gonna do some sausage. So we're gonna start out. I mean, you see, I got all the stuff out that I need, or most of the stuff, equipment-wise, that I need. I'll go over all that with you in a minute. Let me get rid of this because this I'll go over with you later. All right, but we got to start out. First thing we got to do: hog casings. All right, they usually come in a pack like this. This is the LEM. I use these all the time. They're really good hog casings. And they'll come dried, vacuum packed in like salt. So cut the package, open those up, and then rinse them really good. Like, you got to rinse them over and over. I mean, 10, 15, 20 times. Rinse them really good. Get all that salt off them. And there's still going to be salt on them. And they look like this. These are hog intestines that are washed and vacuum packed and salted. They're dried and salted at the factory. What we need to do is reconstitute them, rehydrate them. So what I do is I save a pickle jar. I get a pickle jar here. Some cold water in it. Now I put these in a bowl, ran water, cold water over them, rinsed them, kept dumping the water out, You end up with is this mess of stuff here. Just give them a squeeze, get most of the water out of them. Then put them, I use a pickle jar. Stick them in a pickle jar full of fresh, clean water, cold water. Put the lid on it. You shake them up a little bit. Let them soak in there for a minimum of an hour. I find that the longer you soak these, actually the better they are. They get kind of, I don't know, kind of brittle when they're easy to puncture, they're easy to rupture if you don't soak them long enough. But if you soak them in cold water for an hour, 2 hours, I like to soak them sometimes for 3 or 4 days or a week. They get real pliable. Other than that, they rip easy when you're trying to slide them on the horn. So put them in some cold water, just an old pickle jar. And then what I'll actually do is once I'm done, because you make a lot of sausage with this many casings, you can either take and rinse them all off, dry them on a towel or something, paper towel, and pack them in salt. Put them back into a jar like this, drain all the water out, dry the jar off, put them in there and cover them with salt, and pack them right in salt, and they'll last forever. I've done that, and I've also dumped the water, put clean water in, put a couple of tablespoons of salt, just a little handful of salt, throw it in there, salt brine, mix it up, and just shove them in the fridge. And they'll last for years in the fridge. They won't go bad on you, especially if they're in salt water. So you can do either one. For me, it's easier to make a salt brine, and then they're always pliable. They're always good. I can take them out, rinse them off. And then I'll show you how to rinse these and prep these once they're soaked. Right now, they wouldn't work. All right? So that's those. Get rid of this. All right. We'll get over. Let's go over a few things I need too. Just throw that over there for now. All right. So let's go over some of the tools we're going to use too. All right. And everything. Let me put this over here. Everything needs to be sterilized. I mean, you're making cheese, you're making bacon, you're making sausage. It's very important everything be clean. So I've gone through. I've cleaned everything down here. I've washed all this equipment. I washed it when I put it away and sterilized it. That doesn't matter. When you take it out, you wash it again. Got to be clean. So after I've washed it, I keep a bottle. I used to use Star San or One Step as sterilizers. They're real expensive. They ain't cheap. Alcohol, 70% rubbing alcohol. If you use the 90%, you spray it on, it evaporates right away. It's just too much alcohol. Go with 70% alcohol. Spray everything down with alcohol. I spray my scale, my cutlery, I took my meat slicer apart, all the pieces of the meat slicer got sprayed. My bins that I'm gonna run the meat into are all sterilized. The scale, all the pots, the stuffer. You're gonna need a big ass stainless steel bowl, or a big bowl or a bucket of some kind for putting it under the grinder to catch your meat. I use a tub like this because once you grind your meat, nice meat tub like this, because you're going to put this in the freezer. You want to keep your meat as cold as possible. So I got that, and I got a mixer, a meat mixer that I'll bring out. That I can hold, I think, 15 pounds of meat. Put all your spices in, you just crank the handle, it mixes up the sausage for you. So I got my grinder, my scale, because your recipes are 5 pounds, 10 pounds, whatever the weight of the recipe is. You need a nice scale. This scale here goes up to 150 pounds. I got this at Bass Pro Shops, I believe. There's the pieces of my stuffer. Like I said, I did a video before where I did the pepperoni video. I actually screwed the stuffer right to my table. I don't have a wife to yell at me for that. You may not be able to do that kind of thing, but I just screwed it. I got sick and tired. It comes with these little clamps that never work. You go see somebody cranking the stuffer and the clamp slips off. It's a pain. So what I did, I just put some screws and screwed it right to the table. Excuse me. Then when I don't want it, I'll just unscrew it, leave the holes there. I got my stuffing horns. I got everything I need. I got a nice cleaver for chopping, because your meat is going to be almost frozen. It's real hard to cut through. A nice cleaver works good on that. And then I got my nice fiberware knives. I got my nice knife here that I use for cutting the meat off the bone, stuff like that. And then don't throw the bones out. I save the bones. I'll vacuum seal those with my vacuum sealer. And I'll bring those out once or twice a year. Put them in a big stainless steel pot. Boil them down and I'll make ham stock. And then what I'll do is I'll can the ham stock. And I use that for making baked beans or ham and bean soup or any of that stuff. So it's always nice to have some ham stock around. The last tip is I'm going to probably take this apart again. I'll take this, probably all the stuffer, the metal stuffer pots, all that stuff, the bowls, the bins, and they'll all go right in the freezer. And they go in the freezer and they'll get, when I need them and I go to grind the meat, they'll be ice cold. And again, the whole key to this is keeping everything cold as possible. The meat will be so cold that your hands get numb working with it. That's what you're looking for. So everything's got to be clean and everything's got to be cold. All right? I'm going to pull out the meat in a little bit, and I'm going to, I got some boneless and some bone-in Boston butts. I'm going to cut the skins off of those, and I'm probably going to save the skins, mix up a little bit of cure, throw them in the fridge, I'll cure them, and then I'll smoke them and stick them in the fridge for making baked beans instead of fatback. I'll save those. All right, and I'll come back when I'm cutting up the butts. All right, we'll go through the butt. We'll cut up the butts. We'll go through that process, and then we'll just jump into videos. Do one quick one of me grinding. The biggest videos will be a different video on every kind of sausage, because I'll make probably 3 or 4 different kinds of sausage. I think I got probably 35 or 40 pounds of butt, so I'll probably be doing 40 pounds of sausage today. All right. So we'll go through when we make the different kinds of sausage. I'll show you the recipes. All right? All right, thank you. I'll see you in a little bit. Bye.